All right, welcome everybody. This is Barney Quincy from Ontario, Canada, and I am the creator and founder of the Animal Wellness Summit, and I'm so glad to be here with you. So I hope you are too. And if you're here already and with us right as we're live, I would like to encourage you to just let us know. You can drop a comment in as you're coming on. Got a fly in my face there. Just let us know where you're tuning in live from. And I am hoping and praying, saying a little prayer, knocking on wood, doing a happy dance that we're not going to have any issues with our feed today, because last two Facebook Lives we've had quite the experience, and I'm not sure as literally as I said that. Tricia just disappeared from the Be Live TV. She was just here, and I think something happened. She'll be back on here in a second. But anyways, this is going to be an interesting call or Facebook Live. These are our live weekly coaching calls. If you're new to our community, we've had a lot of people, a lot of our stuff, our calls and information is really getting out there on behalf of all of our amazing presenters. That we do our best to shine a light on their work, because a lot of them are very brilliant in what they do in their work, and their work deserves more kind of recognition, and it's important to get it out there. So it's going to be just really neat to see how the third Animal Wellness Summit comes into effect. You can mark the dates here, and I see Patricia's there smiling. And so this year is our third Animal Wellness Summit. I just want to tell you, because I feel like there's a lot of you that are new here to our community. If you're already a raving fan of ours, or if you've been with us for a while, thank you for being patient while I explain this. But you can go to, I'll put the link in the bottom, but you can go to just go.animalwellnesssummit.com, and then you can sign up. You can get 48 hours for free to view all of our past content. You can join one of our paid memberships, or you can just sign up for free for our Animal Wellness Summit. It's November 7th to the 16th, 2019, okay? So mark those dates in your calendar, because you're gonna wanna make sure that you have some time set aside every day to watch the presentations. And then throughout the big summits that we do every year in the fall, this is our third one, we like to do these live weekly coaching calls, because the first year we didn't do this. The second year we started, but we weren't consistent. And we were getting bombarded in our support desk from questions, and people just having all sorts of questions. And so if you do need support from us, you can email support@fullcircleholistic.health, or you can just reach out to us on Facebook. And if we don't have the answer for you, we will do our best to connect you with another presenter that's in our lineup to help you, okay? So I just want to let you know, and great to see you guys coming in here. We have Sharon from the UK, Patty from Keystone, Colorado. I love Keystone. I went if I'm thinking of the same place, I went snowboarding there. Is it close to Winter Park? I went snowboarding, I'm pretty sure it's Winter Park. I love Colorado. If I was American, or if I were moved to the States, I probably will go to Colorado or Utah first. And Connecticut, Mary from, hey Mary, nice to see you on here from Connecticut. And Gregory was saying, yes, Mercury retrograde at its finest, because that's when Dr. Patricia had fallen off here. So I've given you enough of a bit of a warm up. Now we're going to welcome Patricia, and she is here smiling and ready to get right into it. So welcome, and thanks for coming on here today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's always fun to talk to you and connect with everybody. So glad to be here today.
Yeah. So now that I was telling everybody that I'm like, the last two calls we had some issues with, and then as I was saying that, you disappeared and then came back.
Yeah, my screen just went off all of a sudden.
That stuff happens. Just like my favorite line from Forrest Gump. He's running, and the guy goes from the media and was like trying to get some information from him, and then he steps in mud and splashes his face, and then he takes a shirt and wipes his face off, and then gives it to the guy. And he said, I don't know exactly how it went, but I just remember he said, "Shit happens." And then the guy takes that line and puts it on the shirt, and he made millions of dollars, I think. But anyways, let's get straight into it, because I know there's going to be a lot of questions that are going to come up. Before we really dive in, I would love for you to just give like a brief overview and a synopsis of who you are and what you do, because there might be some people that don't know who you are, and that'd be very helpful. So why don't you go ahead and do that?
Okay, sure. I'm Dr. Tricia Working, and I am author of the Fur Agreements, the sacred contracts that the animals make to us. I am also a speaker, a writer. I work with spiritually conscious pet families and organizations to create deeper, more meaningful relationships with their pets. And I do it through the use of the Fur Agreements. I am also an animal mystic, communicator, healer, and my big specialty is actually helping people and their pets through times of transition. And I'm from the South, just in case the accent wasn't recognized.
You're from the where?
The South.
Oh, from the South.
The U.S.
My favorite memory of being in the South was when growing up, we went to Florida on a road trip, and we were in an RV and went to the Cracker Barrel. And the waitress came up and asked my dad, she's like, "Honey, would you like your tea iced or hot?" And we're like, "What? Would you like your tea iced or hot?" And we didn't get it. And she's like, and first we're like, "Oh, iced or hot tea?" And for us, the iced tea was a bit of a foreign thing to us. That was like 25, 30 years ago. In Canada anyways. It's not that it really is, but anyways. So that's pretty cool. I think that there's always the question that comes up where people have lost a pet, or I feel like they've lost a connect, like physically, like either they've crossed the Rainbow Bridge and transitioned, or they've lost them, like they ran away or got taken or something happens. What's some advice you can give to somebody or some practical tips that you can give people that are probably going through that right now, that are experiencing that feeling?
Well, for one thing, the Fur Agreements will help you through the process because it explains what happens when these events occur. Usually when an animal does run off, it very often means that the sole contract between the person or the family and the pet has been complete. If they come back, it means there has been a shift, usually within the family, and that means they're ready, even though they may not be fully conscious of the soul contract. It means that they are ready on some level, and so the animal can return. The same thing kind of goes for when a pet transitions. Normally, when this happens, that means the contract has been completed, or it can mean that the pet guardian has decided for whatever reason, and again, even unconsciously, that I just can't handle fulfilling this contract. And so when the pet is transitioned, it doesn't come back. But then quite often, a pet will return, and there are different ways that they can return to us. But I've almost lost count, but well over 25 of my pets come back to me to do more work. And that is a lot of times what will happen is that it becomes, even though the initial contract was fulfilled, that then new contracts are ready to go deeper in. And what I would say for a person or a family going through this is try to understand that our pets come in just as we do. We all come in with a soul purpose and a destiny. A lot of times we spend our lives seeking it, and often we find it. Other times it's spent in the search. Well, the thing is, the animal kingdom, whether they're our pets or animals in the natural, they come in also with sole purposes for themselves to learn and experience, and then to the person or family that they go to. And so it's really important when something happens, especially if one happens to run away, to know that you don't blame yourself. You didn't do anything wrong, even if it was an accident and a door was left open, or you're on vacation and the sitter accidentally left a gate unlocked, whatever. It's not your fault. Everything that happens with us and our pets is unfolding as we have agreed. And that's what I do, is help people really try to go deeper and understand about the agreements and how it translates directly into their relationship with their pets.
Okay, so that's good. I think that I was thinking that one of the biggest things that we felt like when we went through with Lucy, our dog that got really sick and ran away, or we're not sure, she just was gone. Well, no, it was like we saw her run away and we couldn't catch her, and she was just gone. And we looked for her for 3 days, like they didn't just stop after 3 days, and then you go through these periods of like guilt and like, what did we do? We did something wrong. We should have looked more. We looked harder. But there were search teams out there. We did a lot, and it was unexpected because it snuck up on us, and you don't really expect it compared to if an animal has a sickness or a disease or an ailment or something, and they're kind of unfortunately regressing and not getting better. Then you can kind of prepare for it, but it doesn't really prepare you. Like you
Right.
can't, I feel like you can't be fully prepared, but I think to some level, it's good to know that. I mean, at the end of the day, when time's up, the time's up. Doesn't make it easier, but
Another point too is that often pets realize their time is coming, and they don't want to put their families through the illness or whatever, and so they can actually leave to go through the process of the transition by themselves. Because here's the big thing, Barney, that we so often forget, is that the animals are literally far more spiritually conscious even than we are, regardless of whether we've just started our journey or we've been on it for many years. Because when we come in with the veils, the 7 veils, and we spend our lives trying to remove them. Animals come in with the same consciousness that they had on the other side in spirit, and that way they know exactly what is happening, even if we don't. And so then the opportunity and the invitation is to let them become the way showers and help us to heighten our humanity, or in many cases show us the lack of humanity, such as the case with Michael Vick and the pit bulls that were so tragically issued. So there's just so much that we can learn once we know there's more than just behaviors. There's a lot below the surface.
yeah, and I think that's the reason why that the work that you do is so important, because it's a lot of the unspoken things, the elements that are not commonly understood, or even if there's a superficial understanding or even a conscious understanding at a theoretical level, there's not the full knowing of it, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, kind of unrelated, but very related to the feeling. I would relate it to, and let me know if this resonates with your history and experience with working with clients and helping people through this. But I feel pretty clear on my life mission and vision. and I had a big awakening. I asked for clarity about 9 years ago. I went to a traditional native healing circle with some friends, and got my third eye, but my eyes opened up very wide as to the main reason for, one of the big reasons for me being here, and that's to help educate and inspire millions and millions of people around the world to get better in touch and in tune with the plant and animal kingdom. But then, I'm doing all this work and all this, and then when my son was born just recently on my birthday, within the same hour of when I was born, 36 years prior, so it was on my 36th birthday he was born. We had 3 girls. I had this energetically electrifying experience when he was born, and I realized it was a son, and I had this floodgate of intuition opened up and showed me a lot bigger. And then I understood, but I tried to explain it, and I couldn't. It's hard even now to explain it. And the only reason I'm sharing this is because I feel like there's a connection to that understanding or that inner knowing. And the unfortunate part, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that a lot of people don't feel that, and they don't know that. And then when that's not present, then they second guess and question, and that's when all these other challenging emotions kind of come into play. Does that resonate with what you're talking about?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Actually, I kind of coined the term animals, consciousness, and spirituality because of what you're saying. The animals actually can help us deepen and heighten our consciousness, but here's the thing. Let's just say I'm Susie Storm from down the street, and I'm a good Southern Baptist girl, and I just love my dog, and I love my cat. Well, that is an awareness of loving them. But what could be happening, especially if I don't know my purpose, but even if I'm searching for my purpose, because this is an even deeper layer, is that I'm aware that I love my animals, but it's here, and I don't recognize yet the depth of the love and everything that comes with them, or I may realize that, oh, when I come home and I've had a really bad day, or I've had a fight with my boyfriend, Pepper comes up and puts their head on my chest. We know that is part of healing, but they may not connect that. And so the whole purpose really of consciousness and the 4 agreements is to help people connect those deeper levels, and you can go as deep as you imagine. That's the phenomenality of it. I mean, every time my book came out in 2012, and every time I go back through it to read it, I find things I don't remember. I'm like, wait a minute, where did that come from? And yes, it was a channel book, but it's like, as we get ready, then the layers open up. And then so often too, like you were just saying, we may have experiences that we don't have the language for yet. We've had the experience and it's deep inside us. And that's really kind of what happened with me, because I had pets my whole life. I'd had dogs that I raised, trained, and showed for many, many years, and didn't even get my first cat till I was 25. And there were so many experiences, like feeling that last breath and last heartbeat. But again, I wasn't conscious yet. I was on my spiritual path, but I wasn't connecting fully that. And then all of a sudden in 2012, all of the languaging came up, and there it was. And I'm like, oh, that's what that meant when this happened. And so when I would write their stories, I had that complete understanding. So it is very much the same thing as you experienced.
Yeah, I think that clicked something for me. I hope it did for some of you out there watching now and in the future. That it was like that. It was something that I could understand, but it took me a while to describe it. But the first time when I had that 9 years ago, on April the 23rd, 2010, it was at 2 a.m. I remember it. It was very life-changing. In fact, we wouldn't be here and probably wouldn't know each other if it wasn't for that experience. But I remember it where it freaked me out. Like it scared the Jesus out of me, if we could say that. Because I didn't know how to process it. I could see it and it was inspiring, but it was unreal. But now that it's taken time, so I think that this is, I just want to kind of relate this to something that feels related but practical from an experiential standpoint, because I think that it's good to it's just good to have the theory, but then the practical understanding of it. Because I was just looking, there was a comment from Tricia. How can we encourage a pet on the other side who died young from unknown illness to consider returning? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's a great question. And here's the thing. We can ask all we want, and I have certainly spent my fair share doing that in the past. They will only return, in my experience, and that's, you know, really all I can speak to, but my training as well is that we can tell spirit, you know, or God, or whomever your higher power is, we can tell and we can ask and pray, please let them come back. But the thing is, they may not be allowed to come back unless there is a purpose. It can't be just because I miss them and I want them back. But a caveat to that is, and I personally experienced it, when my heart cat, Ebony, who was almost 17, was literally kind of ripped from my arms because he just refused to leave me for 4 years. I continued on, I did my work, but there was this emptiness that absolutely nothing, and even though new pets came in, nothing could fill that void. And at first I wasn't aware that it was directly related to Ebony. And then of course, as I got deeper in my work, I realized that. And finally, and I said, like everybody else, says, oh, please let him come back. But I, finally said, if it's meant to be, please let him come back to me, because I can't really fully live without him. And very unexpectedly, he was allowed to return about a year or so later. And the thing was, though, he was Ebony and he wasn't Ebony. He was, although he looked very similar, he had a totally different personality, and he didn't even know in his personality, did he want to work with me and do the fur agreements? He was trying to figure out what was the most important thing for him. And so it gave me new lessons in learning to work that when they do come back, you may not always get, even though it is the same animal, you may get different aspects of them that will come out, because again, everything depends on where we are too. So you can ask for it, but the other thing is, just because they're on the other side, we have this idea still that we can't reach them. And the veil is literally thinner than my fingernail. And so they are always there, and we can call on them, we can ask them to come to us. But the other thing is, maybe we're in a meeting, or maybe we're driving home or going on vacation, and all of a sudden they pop into our mind. That is actually them knocking on the door saying, hey, I'm here, I'm trying to get your attention and communicate with you. And we don't always recognize it. We just think, oh, I'm just still missing him, or that didn't really happen, or that shadow I saw in the hall, that wasn't him. And so literally you can connect with them two ways. You can call on them, and they will be able to connect with you depending on your level of receptivity and readiness, but then they can also, again, knock at the door and say, hey, I'm here, and try to get to me.
So basically you can ask, but they may not respond or it may not work.
Well, right, but again, the real intention is it's for the highest good of all. If it's for the highest good of me and my family and my tribe and the highest good of Ebony on the other side, please let them return. But we can't count on that. But it doesn't mean we are disconnected unless we just disconnect because of our grief.
Right. Okay, well, that's good. So, Tricia, I hope that helps. And then another related one here from Patty from Keystone, Colorado. Can a pet return into another new family pet's body?
Yes, actually, that can happen a couple of different ways, but that's what we know when it happens with humans as a walk-in. And in fact, my little prince that everybody knows transitioned back in November 27th of 2018. Well, literally 1 month before, on October 26th, another puppy had been born. I was in such grief and trying to find a puppy because Rick's like, give me a puppy, get it now, and make him look like Prince. And I wasn't really even ready to ask, could he return or anything? But literally 1 week to the day that Prince transitioned, the new little baby came into me, and it was Prince. And I had to have another friend who's a communicator translate it because I wasn't ready. I wasn't finished processing things. And he was like, I'm here. I'm really here. I came back. But what happened was the little soul that had started, basically Prince's soul came, they connected, and he agreed to go back on the other side and let Prince come into his body. Another thing that happens and did happen with my little Prince, I kept getting the name of Casey, my first little dog as an adult. My Shih Tzu lived to be 17, and I was getting the feeling that it was Casey, not Prince, or that it was Casey and Prince. And once we were able to unravel things, we found out that Casey had come and guided Prince back. And that's how, that's the role he played. And once Prince was ensconced and we knew it was him, then Casey was able to go back to the other side. Another thing they can do if you have another pet, they can also come in and share space in the same body at the same time. It's like when I do conscious channeling, and so I let this information come in, but I'm fully aware of what's happening. That can happen with our pets, and so you'll think, wait a minute, Snowball just did the same thing that Buttercup used to do, and Snowball's never done that. What's going on? And again, that's another way they can come and connect with you and get your attention, but then they do go back to the other side. So there's several different ways this can occur.
Yeah. Yeah, Patty just said that, yes, it's happened to me. I rescued a dog that turned into my golden that died a year earlier. Yeah. And
I have had them come back literally as early as 1 day without even realizing it. Some of my pets have reincarnated 3 times, 2 times, 4 times. Again, sometimes because the bodies couldn't hold the energy of the spirit, but then also because they still had work to do, but the body was having issues.
Right. It only took an hour, took a day, and they were right back already.
Absolutely. I literally, exactly the same. And oh, that's another thing to let y'all know, if you don't already know, they can also come back but not look anything at all like they did. I literally have my little Chiweenie Sammy. He is the incarnation of my cat Sammy that died several years ago, and he came back in to experience dog body with the tribe, and that's initiated all kinds of learning. So that can happen too. They can cross species. They might come back as a horse. So you just have to be on the lookout.
Yeah, that's that'll keep you guessing. That's for sure. Jody posted this right at the beginning. So glad I can attend this class, Jody. I'm not sure if you're on here with us live still or not, but so worried. Mini Labradoodle is 4 years. Took 3 years to find raw food he liked. Now he stopped eating. Blood work and X-ray. Please see Chase and help us. I don't know if you have any insight on this.
Yes, and after I tell her this, I've actually got a personal experience that just happened to show her.
Tricia, can I?
Yes.
Could I ask you to tilt your screen forward just a little bit?
Oh, sure.
There you go. Just because when the comments come in the bottom, they kind of take up part of the screen here. But that's good.
Is this okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Go for it.
First of all, what you want to do, Jody, and this is something we all do until we learn not to, but even if there's not a diagnosis, but even when there is, we start living that diagnosis and we start trying to fix them, and we get into that medical mentality. And one of the big lessons for all of us is the fact that we've got to connect with our animals and find out what are they saying to us. Now, I am not a medical intuitive. I mean, I get hits, but that is not my thing. But I am a healer. And so we go in and we can ask, are you willing, do you want veterinary care? Or do you want energy work? What are you willing to do? Tell us, because we're not asking them, even when we take them to the doctor. Sometimes you may have to override their wishes and take them in, but we've got to start learning to talk to them. And right now, as we're speaking, I've even started creating healing, going to him. But the thing is, I'm not asking that he start eating or anything like that. I'm directing the healing energy to go wherever is necessary and right for him, and to help support him. And this experience, I haven't even shared it with a couple of people yet, so I'm really excited. And Jody, I will be happy to work with you on him. But one of our community members, Rebecca Gibbons Bickerstaff, for the past 6 or 8 months, she has gone through trauma after trauma because she has multiple animals, and we've worked with them. And one of the things that first happened was she had this wonderful cat, Marco Polo, in January, who was diagnosed with getting ready to transition, but she was also she had just lost one dog and was facing issues with another. And so we worked together on him, and Mary, my colleague, also worked on him. And literally, he got better and better and better until March, I think it was, thereabouts. Then he started to fail. And what he told us was he was holding the space for her to be able to get through all of the other transitions, because it was multiple, and he did not want to add to her burden. And so he helped with all of that, and then he was ready to go. Well, what happened 2 weeks ago, his best buddy, Tabasco, she called me and said the vet is absolutely sure there's cancer, and if we don't continue, if we're not willing to continue chemotherapy and radiation, there's no point in operating. And there was nothing there with Tabasco in March, and all of a sudden it's here. He said there might be a tiny little chance that there could be an infection, but from what I'm seeing and what I know, I am certain this is cancer. Well, we talked, and over the 4th of July weekend, really worked on him, and he said, I'll do anything. If you want to do the surgery, but you don't want to do the radiation, take me. I'll do it. And so she went, talked to her doctor, and said, I would like to do that, but not the other. And the doctor retested him, and there was absolutely nothing there. There was just an anal gland that was infected, and it drained. And so what we were able to do, and of course she couldn't tell her vet, is we were able with his help to transmute the cancer into a non-benign issue, and he's perfectly healthy. And I call those Bella moments, because Mary and I, with her original cat Bella, who would be like 20 or 21, twice we were able to take away and help heal her situation. The last one was where her vet was sure she had a brain tumor and they were going to operate, and we worked on her, and in a few days she took her on in to do the surgery, and the vet said there is nothing there. I know what I saw on the x-rays. I wasn't wrong, and I was able to meet him later on, and we couldn't tell him, well, this is what happened. But this is the power of healing. Everyone can do it. You can learn how, but you can also just set an intention to heal for their highest good. But these kind of things are happening more and more as we awaken more, as the families awaken more and connect with their pets. So yes, I will absolutely work with him and just stop the worry and see him as in his own healing space, whatever that looks like.
Well, that was
Long way around the question, but
yeah, no, that was great. I think that was pretty awesome. And Mary is saying, I am here and can verify this miracle. I'm not sure which one she's referring to, but
Bella.
Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing that, Mary. And Tricia said this, just for some feedback for you, for you, Tricia, another Tricia. This is one of the best talks I've heard in a long time, so that's pretty awesome.
Thank you so much.
Tricia's been on our Facebook Lives a couple times. I'm not sure. I think maybe Tricia might be one of our VIP members too, but maybe not. Either way, you're still awesome, Tricia. Thanks for sharing. So a couple other questions that I want to make sure that I don't miss. So this, I don't know that there's necessarily a question here, but Sharon's just leaving a comment. Hi, Tricia. My Springer Spaniel, Joe, age 12, transitioned a month ago. I feel him near me every day, but I don't know if you just have a few words for her maybe, because she didn't ask a question, but I feel like there's a question there.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. By you being able to actually language it and in front of everybody, say, I feel him, you absolutely are, and he is connecting with you. One, to help you heal, because the animals understand that we take transition totally differently. They take it and do it, and it simply is, because it's a part of their path, and they're nothing but spirit. But they understand that we go through such grief and such self-recrimination and so many things, that he is here to help you in any way he can, support you in your grief, and help you move through the grief to celebrating the fact that, oh my God, I can really feel him. He's here. I just can't see him. And there can be a time when you can actually see him too. So that's wonderful. And if you want to go deeper into it, I will be happy to do that with you. But congratulations, you are really open to this. And he's also still healing and everything he needs to do on the other side. But just like the angels, just like Jesus and Mother Mary, they send their aspects to us, even though they're working or even working on other projects on the other side. They still are always connected to us.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thanks for sharing that for Sharon. So Sharon, if you're still on, hopefully that was inspiring for you and helpful. And I know that this is probably going to come up. Well, I know it's just going to come up. So why don't you just let people know? I'll put your site up here because you mentioned it a couple times, and I know the last time we did the call, you had offered this for people. But I know that some watching now, but also in the future when they watch this as a replay, whether it's on YouTube or on our Facebook page or in the members area, the question is going to come up: how if you mentioned that you can work with people? So I put your website up here, but is there an easy, simple way that they just they go onto your page, the website, pauseforthoughtinc.com, and make sure you put the website in correctly, not pauseforthought.com, because it's a weird looking site from Hong Kong. Pauseforthoughtinc.com. But can they email you? I know before you did something like a mini consultation for people if they're really struggling and need some help.
Yeah. What they can do is email Mary because she's also my coordinator for everything I do. If y'all will email MSH Paws, PAWS at iCloud.com, then she will connect you up with me. And what I'm willing to do gratefully is share a digital copy of the fur agreements with anybody who would like one. And if you want a hard copy, then you'll have to buy that one, but you have those, and it's also on Amazon. But also, what I would like to do is offer that 15-minute consultation. It's called the Power in the Paw session, and I will do that for anybody that is on today or listens later. And also, I will give them a copy of the blessing from the animals, because last year when we did the summit, the entire animal kingdom channeled information to me that they asked to be put out there, and it is just so beautiful what they have said to us, for us, and about us. And so everybody can receive all three of those gifts. And I have a monthly free seminar, which again, Mary can tell you about, in a Facebook group called the Fur Agreements. But I do a monthly free healing seminar, and it works on people and also on their pets. So you're welcome to join those as well and get to know things.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Because I think it's great. I think that one of the biggest benefits to the kind of dynamics of our, of my company, but also about the brand and the community that we've been building with the Animal Wellness Summit is it's not just one person's perspective or approach. This is the cool part for everybody that's participating, for you guys on live and members who are part of our paid community, is that you get a smorgasbord access to many different presenters. And then for those of you who resonate with specific presenters, then you can go and follow Tricia, and it's just pretty awesome. So I encourage you to do that. And I just want to say thanks for all the work that you do, because it's pretty great, and I feel like it's helping a lot.
Thanks, Barney. I would like to mention something, if I could, since you said that, because one of my community members brought this up, where they had seen or read on somebody else's website, and they were talking about how you can't trust people who offer free stuff. that means they don't really have confidence in themselves and they're really not legitimate. And I just have to take offense at that and share that, y'all, you will resonate with somebody or multiple somebodies. And if you're offered something free, that is because we know where y'all been. And in my life, for so many years, I was given wonderful things. I had a mentor for over 10 years every week that opened me up. So when I give, I just give because I've been given to and I'm paying it forward.
Yeah.
And if somebody tells you that's not real, then go with your gut. And whatever your gut says, trust that.
Yes, I agree. And I will admit that, even though when we do the summit for free, there's part of me that's thought maybe we should just charge $10 a person to cover the cost, because it does cost a lot to run the entire project and keep it going for the whole year. But that's why we want to be able to do that, to be able to get back. And then I'll just put this up here for a little plug for our community. You can join as a VIP member for less than $1 a day. You can pay monthly or yearly, and then you get access to all the past training content, the future, so what's coming in 2019, all of the weekly coaching calls, there's 60 of them, the monthly mini master classes. I've been pretty quiet about this well, not quiet, but we haven't really overly promoted it, because I want people, all of you who resonate, that you feel value on it, go and get yourself signed up, and you'll appreciate it, because Tricia has a lot more. I think you have was there 4 other presentations that you did? You did 2 each year, right?
Did 3 last year, but yeah, so yeah.
3. Okay. Did you?
4 or 5. Yeah. Oh, in the monthly master class that I did.
Yeah, I think so. There's quite a bit. So there's a lot more in there. But yeah, let's go to a couple other questions. So there was this one. Well, I think this is just a comment from Yvonne, which is pretty neat. They can also touch you from the other side. End of May, I lost my 2 senior cats that I had rescued within 8 days of each other. And as I grieve them, I will feel them as they both had distinct ways of showing me their affection, which to me, I think just that comment is great, because it's kind of like affirmation or confirmation of what you're sharing.
Well, absolutely. And just like the other gal who had said, she could feel her animal, y'all, you've got to take this, you don't have to, but I encourage you to take this as an invitation to understand that you are so ready to go even deeper, regardless of how much you may already know and do. The fact that you can feel them, the fact that you know that they're there. You don't know how many people beg for that because they don't realize that that's really true. So y'all are truly ready to go even deeper with your work with your animals and even the wild animals.
Yeah.
And that's another quick point, Barney.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're drawn to animals that we don't have, like the white tiger is one of my favorites, and I've been able to work with tigers. But if we're drawn to an animal, or if we see something on TV, and just for a brief moment that it comes to our awareness, that was meant to happen. And all you have to do is look up what that animal means on the internet. What is the spiritual significance of it? But no, it doesn't have to be something physical, somebody physical, and it can be a dragonfly or a butterfly.
Yeah.
But be open to things outside your normal realm of awareness.
Yeah, there was one of my mentors and coaches, Paul Check, in Holistic Health, is a licensed and practicing modern day shaman. He's I think quarter Cherokee, and he would share a lot of the beliefs that he studied in Native and Aboriginal or ancient cultures, even too. That there was a belief that if someone couldn't communicate with the plant and animal kingdom, that there was something wrong with you. But now, in modern days, if you'd say that, like, oh, I can communicate to animals and even plants or the plant kingdom to some degree, that's kind of weird, but he's like, it's actually normal and healthy to be connected to our environment. It's just that it just goes to show how disconnected some people are. And real quick, because I wanted to pull this up from Holly, and there's another one, pardon me, another 2 or 3 questions that I want to get to before we wrap it up. But the dream, did you hear about the dream that I had about our son Leo? Did I share that, or did you hear that? So Sarah May, who's one of our VIPs from England, she's on right now, and left a comment. So we didn't know, this is our 4th baby that we had, Leo as our son. We named him Leo, and we didn't know, we weren't sure if we were having a boy or a girl, so that we weren't going to check, or we weren't going to find out. And we kind of thought, well, we've had 3 girls, chances are pretty high that we're going to have another girl again. But I was kind of deep down kind of wishing, and I was hoping for a boy, but I was in no way, shape, or form going to be like, oh, we have another girl, because I love my girls. But then I had a dream. So the night before, and I didn't know she was going to go into labor, I woke up. I had this dream the night. Basically, it was at about 1 a.m. because I had woke up, and then she started going into labor later at 4:30. But the dream was we were driving down in this truck in the country, in the back country of Ontario, but it was kind of like we were in Africa at the same time. And all of a sudden, there's this white deer, a baby fawn or a white deer, kind of came out of nowhere. And keep in mind, this is in dream. This is my remembrance and interpretation of the dream. This white deer came, and it came up close to the truck, and we're like stopped. We were driving, but then all of a sudden we were stopped. You know how sometimes you can just transition very quickly? And all of a sudden there's a baby boy in our arms in the truck. It's just me and my wife, and the deer's not there. And then Adrian and I was saying to my wife, I'm like, isn't it weird that we've never noticed that like baby fawns or like little deers are like actually human babies? And so then at the time I was just like, okay, I'm going through that. And we're sitting there, and he's in our arms, and I'm holding him. And then all of a sudden there was a family pack of lions. So there was the male lion with the mane and everything, and then there was the lioness or the female. I don't know if you say the mom or the dad or whatever. And then there were some cubs, and was walking towards us on the road, and made eye contact, and then walked off the road and left. And then in the distance, I could see a family of elephants. And I really didn't know what this all meant, but then I had some people reach out and share some things. And basically, my interpretation of it was there was something to do with Leo with the white fawn or the deer. And then I didn't realize that Leo means lion in Greek, or I think that's what it is. And so I ended up, his name just came to me, like we're going to name him Leo. And then I knew it was a boy, and I woke up and told my wife when she woke me up at 4:30 and said, we're going to have a baby today. And I just shared it because it kind of, it was bizarre, but it was like comforting at the same regard, because it was like this inner knowing. So I felt like it was God's way or the universe's way of communicating to me, but I didn't have this like little written like sheet of paper that gave me clear, specific instructions. And anyway, I just thought I'd share that because it was pretty neat and special. So it'll be interesting to see how his life is going to unfold. But it also reminded me we don't have any cats or any animals in our house right now, or dogs. Because after Lucy, I know, but we're a little bit apprehensive but we want to make sure that we're ready. We just brought in Leo into the family. We want to do it. The girls are very ready. I share this because I feel like some people out there, I hope that you connect with that story on some level, that when you have dreams and there's a meaning behind them, and you're not really sure how to interpret it, my sense is that it definitely is there's a meaning, and it's challenging when you don't know what it is, but then I think just having the trust to know that when the time's right, the message will come through. So I just wanted to share that. I feel like on some level that's applicable with what we're talking about today.
It is, and more I would encourage you to look to see what is the meaning of a white fawn, because it felt very, of course it was Leo, but I'm saying what look to see what does that mean in general. But also, Barney, because this just happened to me, and I had an African dream too the other night, which was just very unusual. But my sense is that you were actually walking in another reality, and you were being shown it wasn't just a dream. And that's what that's why I think what you just shared is important. We've got to realize that we are continually moving up, raising our vibration and our frequency, and there are multiple dimensions. And so when we dream, and especially when they feel so real, they really are. And we are having those experiences or living those lives. So I would say that, other pieces will be revealed to you, but look up white fawn and just see what else that says.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. And Tricia, yes, this other Tricia on here saying this great story about the dreams and animals gives me goosebumps. It gave me a lot of goosebumps. I actually, if you're interested, if you want to listen to more of the story, you can go on my personal Facebook timeline and go down to I think it's June 20th or June 21st. And there's a video of me going more into detail of it. But it was pretty interesting. And this one, because I want to get back to these questions. I a little sidetracked there, but I think it was relatively connected to what we were talking about. But Tricia's asking, any suggestions on how to communicate with our animals in spirit and learn to perceive them around us? She lost 3 cats this past year. So, give us a summary.
Actually, and you will be getting this in the new summit, but Spirit has given me what has now become my signature system for connecting, and it can be done with pets with us and even those on the other side. And it's about a 25-minute process, but basically, in a nutshell, what you can do is, first of all, be thankful, give thanks for the fact that you know that they're there and that they're waiting for you. Really open your mind and your heart to the fact that they may be coming in different ways, so call on them. I think it is very good for those of y'all who are not only losing, but especially if you're wanting to go deeper with your animals, to start an animal journal. And for when you've had losses, actually talk to them and write questions or share memories of them, and then invite them into you in a way that you can recognize. Because a lot of times Spirit will be trying to get our attention, and we just see it, but we don't get it. And so ask that they be able to communicate with you in a way that will work for you. And it'll just take a little time to start sitting down with them as if they're really there. And you may want to make a little ritual, have some incense going, and just set the intention that you're now ready and open. And don't get discouraged if you don't actually get something right away, because you got to remember, they spent forever trying to get our attention, and it is harder for them to come from the other side to us, just because the earth is so dense and it takes so much energy to materialize or whatever. But that they are there, and trust that. And you can actually, in your dreams, set an intention to connect with them through your dreams, because we are wide open then. And especially between like 3 and 4 or 5, the veil is thinnest between the worlds. And so if you're a night owl like I am, you may want to try doing something then. But connect with me, and I can share some other things with you.
Okay, that's really good. So Tricia, hopefully that helps you. So this last one, so this is Holly. I have about 3 questions, so we'll, just because we're pretty much out of time, but I want to make sure these 3 get answered. Holly's just asking, my 9-year-old dog has some phobias. I'm doing a few different modalities to help him physically and mentally. I just can't figure out what's going on. Do you have any ideas?
The best thing to do is actually set up a session so you can go in depth. But another thing you can do is, we have created through my Unipause healing group a 24-hour healing circle. And you can put you and your dog in that circle, and the energy will flow to him or her as is necessary and however they can receive it. And it will only stop when you choose to stop it, or when the situation has been corrected. And with the phobias, one of the things you want to do is you can easily get things like Rescue Remedy, like a thunder shirt, even though technically it's for the bad weather. Sammy, my little Chiweenie that you saw, he wears one almost constantly because he is just so anxious, and it comforts him and gives him that. So, but then you can also call on the Blue Angel, who is the angel of the animals that was revealed to me and is in her agreements. You can call on her and St. Francis and Raphael, Archangel Raphael, to work with you to help him and to help him heal according to his fur agreements. And don't let yourself get all tense and anxious and worried about it, because he will feel that energy and try to take it from you and just exacerbate the situation. But call me and I'll be glad to tell you more.
That's good. Yeah, no, I think it's good to just be clear in the intention and just to do that. And the other thing, the Rescue Remedy is really good. I have found, and there's some great presentations in the summit from presenters that have used successfully and safely the certain essential oil blends that will help. Like one that's used is Stress Away and Peace and Calming. Those two have been helpful. So we've used those with Lucy. You just, of course, want to be conscious. You just don't want to go and slather them. You want to use them in a smart way.
Also, I'm sorry, Barney.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
I just want to say,
next question.
You can also, for cats, Feel Away is the natural pheromones that calm, and you can get that. For dogs, it is called Adaptil, ADPTIL, and you can get that either like in a spray that, like a house deodorizer that shoots out, or you can get it in different forms, and that would be another resource that you could have energetically and create. Use incense or sage, but clear your house, just set an intention and clear it, and then clear him too, and that will also help.
Yeah, that, and for whatever reason, there's another presenter as part of the summit, and I'm going to pull this up from Jen. I don't know if you can see the screen, the comment on the screen there, Tricia, but this is for, who did we just talk about?
Holly.
Yeah, Holly. If you are a VIP member, I would encourage you to go find Megan Ayrault. Her last name is Ayrault, because she does touch for animals, and with Reiki and like massage. She has a Reiki and massage background. And if you aren't a member and you want to check it out, when you sign up for the summit, you get 48 hours free access to go back and watch some of the last ones. And I feel like what Tricia just said would be perfect, because it allows you to be, to just put some positive but some healing energy into her. And she just shares, it's really complementary to what Tricia's sharing, is that to just take the intention and like literally just lay hands on your animal when they get all wound up or something triggers them or whatever, and just use your grounding energy to calm them down. So and her presentation was really good to just and she's very soft spoken, and she's a great presenter. Compliments what Tricia's talking about here a lot.
One other thing, I'm sorry, Barney, but this goes for everybody on every question that y'all been asking about. There's a much deeper thing around it. But if you experience like these situations with your pet or any kind of problem or frustration, or even your grief, if you will simply say these three words, I am love, or you can say we are loving, doing it with your pet. But if you say I am love over and over around a situation, it will either resolve successfully, or however it resolves, you will come through it in a completely different paradigm state of mind, because what we're all being asked to do now is to get out of all of the doing, making, having to do something energy, and be in the highest state of being there is, which is being love. And so on his phobias, and you can touch him, or if he's not good with doing touch, you can get a teddy bear or use yourself and use that as a surrogate, and then just say, I am love, we are love. And you know, you are healing according to your fur agreements, and just hold that quiet space within you. And that goes for everybody on every question y'all ask. That will help.
Well, that was great. Thank you. Thank you for that. So last one here from Jen. So is there a way you can communicate with my cat, Tiger? He went missing August 19th, 2018. Not sure if he's still alive. I don't know if this is in your wheelhouse or not, but.
It is, and I'll have to, you know, it's not always accurate, but let me try to take a moment and connect. So hold on, I have to close my eyes and get situated. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My information is saying that he is still in body, but I don't know that he is going to be coming back to you or not right now. One thing that you can do, and again, everybody, and you can even use this for different purposes, but if you will imagine a silver or a pink thread going from your heart extending to your pet, and let it connect, and then just say to them whatever feels right to you. But you want to ask them, you know, if you're lost, if you're ready to come home, I am here. If it's for your highest good and my highest good, but my heart is connected to you. And if you get ready to come home, follow the pink or the silver thread. And in 20 years, that has never failed to help a pet come back that was meant to come back. And he may be needing some experiences of his own or having to help some other people right now, but it is also, unfortunately, giving you an opportunity to go deeper in your own journey and make a shift. And so even though he is gone right now, just like we were saying to the ones on the other side, you can still communicate and connect with him and love him, but you have to honor the fact that there was a reason, and it's not about responsibility or guilt or anything like that, but there was a reason that he had to leave. And so if you can work on yourself and think about what was going on in your life or your family or your relationship at the time that happened, that may give you some insight. But I can go deeper with you on that. But that is what I get. And nobody's perfect, but if that resonates with you, then good. And I hope it does.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that, well, I've thought about this before, when you set an intention or you do some meditation time or prayer time and you ask for the highest good of all, I have felt this human tendency to want to influence the highest good of all to the point that it serves my my agenda or what I think is the highest good of all, and it's not always what I want or what I think is supposed to be the highest good of all. That's been a challenging lesson, but Jen is still on here and she says thank you. So hopefully that helps, Jen.
Well, and also, Barney, that is a common interpretation, and up until 2012, basically, even as healers and even as a therapist, we were taught to help them heal and to direct the healing to the object or the issue and look for an outcome. But in 2012, when there was this mass exodus of the animals to the other side to try to connect and help us better, the energy shifted, and all of us as healers started being told to, you cannot ask for an outcome. You can't direct it. Just create the energy and the healing, and it will go where it's meant to go, regardless of if you can see it or notice it or what you, like you said, what you think should happen. So just trust and believe. Don't discount yourself.
Yeah, I think that's really good. And Tricia just shared that she feels he's alive too. Jen said thank you, and I want to say thank you to you too, Tricia. Thank you for taking the time, and everybody who's been able to join us on here live. And my encouragement for all of you is to go to Tricia's website. You can just go to pauseforthoughtinc.com, and I'll pull it up here again, but it's also in the comments. And go contact her. If you want to take her up on that little mini consultation, do that, especially if you have a question or a need. And as well, tag some people. Maybe just tag somebody and say, hey, Susie, I thought you might find this interesting, or this, you might like this, or whatever. And you can do that in the future as well when you're watching this as a replay or now live or whatever, if you feel called to do so. If not, I hope that you enjoyed it, and we're grateful to have you here. And Tricia, do you have any final words of wisdom beyond that which you've already shared with us today?
Just that what we've got to do, no matter what happens, is trust that everything, whether we get it yet or not, or whether it feels good or not, everything is unfolding specifically for each of us, and also specifically for the pets. And that if we can't trust, we're not going to get anywhere else. So trust. If you see doubt or worry or fear come up, just do the simple technique. Say, can't say or think, cancel clear, snap your finger, and that will automatically put your body into another state. Because we often say things we don't mean. So anytime that happens or you're feeling concerned, do cancel clear and think of your loved one. And also, Barney, if anybody would like to have some of their friends get together and do a round table, whatever discussion, I'd be happy to do that as well.
Yeah, well, that is great to know. And I would encourage you guys to reach out for sure to Tricia, because she's very generous, as you can see. And so we appreciate that. And Sarah, all the way from the UK, says, thank you, Tricia and Barney, beautiful and enlightening interview. And so thanks for that, Sarah. And it reminds me of this quote that I learned from Dr. John DeMartini. It says that no matter what you've done or you haven't done, no matter what you've done or not done, you're worthy of love. So I think that goes for a good, very resonant with what you've been sharing. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, just everybody start saying and thinking, let it be your mantra. Even if you don't have a problem, just wake up and put into your spiritual practice, I am loved. Yeah. And allow yourself to feel that.
I agree. Awesome. Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up here. I have some other things that I got to get accomplished today, or else my boss might fire me. And then it's funny when people laugh, they're like, aren't you self-employed or your own boss? I'm like, yeah. But yeah, so thanks so much, everybody, for joining in. And final reminder or another reminder, I should say, not final, to go get yourself registered for the 2019 summit. It is free during the 10 days. The link is down below, but you can just go to go.animalwellnesssummit.com and get yourself registered there. And you can also join as a paid VIP member as well, and go to Tricia's website at pauseforthoughtinc.com. And just want to say, stay blessed, stay grateful, stay humble, and stay hungry to keep learning and keep growing, because that's what we're here, I'm pretty sure, as human beings, to learn in the school of life.
Thank you, Barney. I really appreciate the opportunity as always. And thank you, everybody, for listening.
Awesome. Okay, Ben. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.